This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Truck driver shot in Whitfield town after police chase. A truck driver is hospitalized with a gunshot wound following a police chase in the Kingston 13 area on Wednesday afternoon. Details surrounding the incident are still unclear at this time, but preliminary reports are that sometime after noon, the male truck driver was attempting to flee traffic police in Whitfield town when he was unable to negotiate a curve and crashed the vehicle. A confrontation ensued between the suspect and the cops, and he was shot in the upper body. The injured man was taken to hospital, his condition unknown at this time. The news will provide more information as it becomes available. 3-year-old shot in head, father killed during gun attack on family in Clarendon. A 3-year-old boy is currently in serious condition in hospital after he was shot in the head during an attack on his family on Tuesday evening in the community of Havana Heights in Clarendon. The boy's father, who has been identified as Mark Ricketts, did not survive the attack. The boy's mother and his 9-year-old sister have also been hospitalized for their injuries. It's reported that the family arrived home sometime after 7 p.m. and that shortly afterwards explosions were heard. When the police arrived, they discovered that the 4 family members had been wounded. No motive has been established for the attack. Digital COVID-19 vaccination certificate to be available as of Friday. Jamaicans fully vaccinated against COVID-19 will, as of Friday, be able to access their digital COVID-19 vaccination certificate. Dr. Melody Ennis, Director of Family Health Services in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, revealed on Wednesday that the system to allow persons to download their cards will come on stream on Friday. There will be a public education campaign to advise how to use the system. Dr. Ennis said persons who are unable to use the system will have another option to get their COVID-19 certificate.
Will generate the QR code, which is the internationally accepted verification modality of receipt of the vaccine. So all your demographic data, your vaccination status will be inputted on the system, and you generate that certificate which has the QR code which can be used internationally for verification. For persons who don't have to the internet, don't have a printer and really want to have this certificate, and we will be setting up sites in our fixed locations where we will be able to assist persons in printing this digital document.
Police probe corporate area quadruple shooting. Investigators are trying to ascertain whether yesterday's quadruple shooting at the intersection of Walton Park Road and the Fitzgerald Avenue in the St. Andrews South Police Division was linked to a gang feud. The attack took place about 1:30 p.m. when men traveling in a Toyota Voxy opened gunfire on residents. 2 of the injured are said to be in serious condition. Head of the St. Andrews South Police Division, Superintendent Damon Manderson, told the news that a 73-year-old resident was among those shot. No clear motives have been established, but we know gangs have been operating in areas. We are looking at several leads, and I won't say where we are just yet. I might just spill the beans, but we are working to identify these perpetrators, he said. Sections of St. Ann without electricity since Monday, JPS working to restore power. The Jamaica Public Service Company says electricity will be restored this afternoon to sections of St. Ann that have been without power since Monday morning. Residents of Mount Zion Mines and the Land Overy have complained that they have been suffering since then. The upset residents say the unexplained outage has caused the meat, vegetables, and other food items to go bad in their refrigerators and has also affected students doing online classes. Chanel Sterling told the news that she and other residents of Mount Zion have made several calls to JPS since the power went from about 9 a.m. on Monday. I've been calling to find out the cause of it. for quite some time and there's still no report about it, Sterling said. I spoke to a lady and she gave me a code to follow up the report over and over. My sister called the same way and it was the same thing, she added. She indicated that residents have suffered losses since the outage. Pertaining to poultry and meat, they are spoiled. Vegetables have been thrown away. My neighbor's deep freeze has turned into a swimming pool because all the ice turned water. People who raise chickens here and have to store the meat in the deep freeze, you know those are spoiled. Contacted by the news director, corporate communications at JPS, Winsome Collins said the company is working to address the issue. We are aware of the situation and have been in dialogue with the community representatives, including the mayor, councillor, and the NGO reps, Collins stated. The outage was caused by a failed transformer. We have had some challenges in our efforts to address the problem. However, we can assure the residents that the situation will be resolved by late this afternoon, she continued. Another businessman attacked in downtown Montego Bay. Another businessman was attacked near a bank in downtown Montego Bay in St. James. It is reported that on Thursday morning, the businessman, who is of Chinese descent, was robbed then stabbed in the collarbone. He had earlier conducted business at a financial institution. The incident came 24 hours after a woman who is also of Chinese descent was slashed in the face in downtown Montego Bay. It is reported that there have been 5 attacks on members of the community in recent times. This has raised the safety concerns among members of the community. 4 of the 5 crimes occurred without any robberies associated with it, a member of the community told the news. Members of the community have called for an urgent meeting with a Senior Superintendent of Police, Vernon Ellis, the commanding officer for St. James, to discuss their concerns. The crime situation in downtown Montego Bay has caused grave concerns among the business community. Late Tuesday, 42-year-old computer technologist Richard Bell Jr. was robbed and stabbed outside an ATM in Sam Sharp Square. He later died. The attack happened about 11 a.m. His family did not find out about his death until 2 days later because the police were not able to identify his body. And that incident was the second he encountered in weeks. He was robbed while boarding a taxi downtown Montego Bay. Owing to the fact that the banks are not collecting large amounts of monies over the counter, we have been forced to use drop-off and ATM machines, which are not safe, a business operator lamented last week. The businessman wants banks to make more ATMs available inside their businesses or to increase the security provided to customers who line up outside these financial institutions. Early Childhood Center damaged by fire in Spanish Town. 12 students are now out of school following a fire at the Kidsville Early Childhood Center in Spanish Town, St. Catherine this morning. It is reported that flames were seen coming from the facility, which is located on Young Street, about 2 a.m., and an alarm was raised. 4 units from the St. Catherine Fire Department responded to the fire, which gutted 2 buildings and partially damaged Archer's funeral home. The fire was extinguished. I got the sad news this morning. I have been teaching here for the last 28 years, Beverly Johnson said. I am very sad and don't know what I am going to do now, but my sadness is mostly about my boss. She lost everything, Johnson added. The owner of Archer's funeral home, which has been operating along Young Street for the last 15 years, also suffered losses. We have to be rescheduling the planned post-mortem for today, Michael Archer said. We deal with so many people island-wide, so it is a setback for all. So hopefully the matter will be dealt with by Friday to address the issue, he said. Archer's has had to remove several cadavers. The business is insured. The problem is a sad one, but no life has been lost, said Archer. Several family members, some of who journeyed from as far as St. James, were on the scene and expressed disappointment about the situation. Investigation continues into the cause of the fire. More resources to fight predial larceny. The police have disclosed that more resources are to be pumped into fighting predial larceny, including advanced technology, to map and track robbery patterns. Senior communications strategist for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Dennis Brooks, says the technology will involve geographic information system mapping. His disclosure follows the murder of two Westmoreland goat farmers, 65-year-old Henry Jones and 42-year-old Brian Chambers. It's believed that they were killed by goat thieves. Brooks has acknowledged a trend of more armed gangsters becoming involved in predial larceny, but says that the police have a plan. We have been doing a lot of qualitative investigative work, so there is a lot of GIS mapping that we have seen, trying to identify even predial larceny hotspots and correlate that with changing patterns of crime in Clarendon, St. Catherine, St. Mary, and other places, said Brooks. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Agricultural Society is increasing its advocacy for legislative changes to compensate farmers who lose goods to thieves and harsher penalties for those found guilty of predial larceny. JAS President Lenworth Fulton is lamenting that not enough activity has taken place regarding amendments to the Agricultural Produce Act. Fulton believes that the changes should be high on the government's agenda. Well, they should now amend the Agricultural Produce Act. This has been on the table for 15 to 20 years, with all the recommendations made, and this has not gone to the legal draft people as yet, he said. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.